I use old tech to record my videos. Why would I use this old iPad when I have an iPhone 14 Pro sitting right here? Is it bad? Is it garbage? Do I still want
Have
it?
you ever revisited something that might be stuck in time or just hasn't been really used for a long time and it seems vintage, nostalgic, or just gives you a memory or feeling you haven't felt in a long time? That's what this iPad does for me. Yeah, I have had it for over 10 years, and it's as if I just got it. Set aside, the generations has obviously taken over 3 cameras on these devices and a much better, different design. On this specific iPad, I had a little bit of damage acquire over it throughout the years. Just the pixels at the bottom of the screen have died. But besides that, it's wild that technology can last over 10 years when you'd expect it to last half of that, or even just, by dropping it or not keeping good care and misplacing your stuff. But I'm fortunate enough to keep this old iPad from all the way back from 2017 and still work with only minor pixels dying at the bottom of the screen. But there's the home button that's been long missed too. Rip.
Sometimes while looking back at the icons, they may look different than the icons on your iPhone now. Stuck since September 17th, 2018. This iPad has seen a lot of generations come after it. No more home buttons anymore. Ever since the iPhone X, it's always been full screens besides the SE generations.
Yeah, and as you can see, these beautiful photos of how you can see the graininess of these videos, photos, and the low FPS rate. It's beautiful to honestly revisit time to time. And another thing too, it's beautiful that these iPads last for a while and still have this quality still equipped with them, and they never really got outdated really, even though it's technically outdated technology. But yeah, these are a bunch of examples and videos and photos of what it's capable of. So using it today is a lot different than using it back in the day. I don't know how the recording process was back in the day using these iPads, but today my recording process goes a little bit like this. I record either on my iPhone or iPad. If it's on my iPad, I airdrop the file on the photo app onto my other device. Surprisingly, still connects to any Apple device to airdrop it to. So it's really handy in a lot of ways today. Besides the fact that sometimes it's a little slow while searching things up on like YouTube or anything else on Safari, a lot of the apps don't work like used to. Games that are stuck in iOS, even those ones don't even work on this iPad. Um, yeah, but the recording process with only 32 gigabytes isn't a lot of storage room to work with, but it's a decent amount to at least get videos done, because back on the old technology, it doesn't seem like a long video uses up much storage that a video on your phone would now these days. And so to airdrop it, it's not really hard concept, or it's not really hard to do, but it's hard when the file is big and it's not able to airdrop. So sometimes you have to cut it up into little files to separately airdrop it to your phone, to put it into iMovies, to edit through your phone. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's just weird because it doesn't work like it would used to on the iPad, some Apple applications. So I wonder if it's them pushing towards do you use a new technology, or if the old technology is getting outdated. But honestly, keeping around for 10 years in your drawer, in your cupboard, it still works for the basic tasks like looking for your stocks, your contacts if you were connected to it, FaceTime if you wanted to FaceTime people on it, and a bunch of other little simple things. It really brings back the simplicity of old devices, or how devices used to be. Definitely be use something as your notes, your calendar, just something that's really basic. And it's not like the new devices where you're able to go on Instagram, you're able to do all these other things. Those smart devices, it's a pretty dumb device now, but back then when it was used to be a smart device. But it struggles with some things, like even with the applications, it even says unable to do this and that, but it still gets the job done if you really need it to be done.
It being stuck in iOS 12 makes it really limited in some aspects, like games, applications. Some things are old, some things are outdated, but just the basic things I'll keep on mentioning once again over and over in this video. It's simple and it gets the basic tasks done, and it really brings you back to a time that's familiar, but the iOS 12 does give you that nostalgicness.
Now let's compare the two devices together. No, it doesn't have the best quality camera. No, it doesn't have the best mic. No, it doesn't have the loudest speakers. No, it doesn't have the longest charging. No, it doesn't have the longest lifespan. No, it doesn't have the brightest screen. No, it doesn't have the fastest Wi-Fi connection. But it is stuck in its generation, the time that it was built, and it does what it does, the basic tasks that it needs to be done with. And as you can see in this next clip, this is going to be the video I took on the phone, but the iPad version of it.
Here's the nostalgic home button. Nostalgic is a feeling when you revisit something you haven't in a long time and it feels familiar. Older devices and phones have bezels, older screen technology, while the new ones have no bezels. It gives you that feeling of revisiting something you haven't revisited in a long time, something that's different or foreign, something that's alien. And it reminds me of a video that I had of me and my brother back when he was younger and I was younger, and it was like, oh, recording on my iPad. And it's so beautiful to keep something for my daughter to probably see 10-20 years of herself on the same device I saw myself.
But to be honest, it's a fun experiment, and it's really fun to see what the technology that's this old can survive. But I'm not too sure if it'll last another 10 years or if it'll last 5 more. Maybe you could be wrong by next year, and how much longer will this phone last than my next phone? Will technology get better, or will it get dumber and slower and stupider, or last longer and get smarter?
What's the use? It's always nice to revisit all technology and the nostalgic vibes or feeling that it gifts you. Because when you get to appreciate that feeling, you get to appreciate the technology that has came and passed throughout the years. And it's cool to know that something 10 years plus old still works and is still able to make content to this day. It's satisfying to know as a kid you can keep something for 10 years and grow up and eventually use it again and make content on it again. It was always a dream of mine, and just to know that something can come full circle is really cool. It's almost like revisiting technology like a VCR or old camera recorders, an old phone. The fact that it doesn't need to become useless because newer exists is not a nice concept that we came up and built throughout the years. So would I keep using this iPad? Honestly, yeah. Not because it's better than my iPhone 14 Pro. It obviously isn't. The iPhone is much faster, has a better camera, better screen, better speakers, more storage, and can basically do everything this iPad can. But that's not really the point. Using this iPad feels different. Every time I open it, I'm looking at the same icons, the same design, and the same screen that existed years ago. It feels like technology that was frozen in time, and somehow that makes it using today feel special. I started this thinking I was going to use this old iPad just because it was just to make my videos look different, but I think I ended up realizing something different. Technology doesn't necessarily become useless or worthless just because something newer came out or comes out. Sometimes it becomes something you want to come back to. Maybe in 5 years this iPad won't even turn on, maybe it'll last another 10. And maybe one day my iPhone 14 Pro will be the old technology that someday somebody will look behind and say, why would I ever use this? And that's the kind of cool part for me. And that's the cool part for me. Because eventually everything we consider modern becomes old. So if this iPad can still make a video if this iPad can still make videos 10 years later after it's released, maybe old technology isn't really useless. Maybe sometimes it just needs someone to use it again. Reminder to use your old technology, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.